Welcome, everybody. I want to introduce you to my daughter, Alex.
Here I am.
Yeah, people say we look alike. I don't see it. Obviously, she's shorter than I am. Yeah.
I'm so short. You actually posted a picture on social media yesterday, and I looked like a giant.
You did.
And someone even commented, like, Alex really grew. It's like somehow I got real tall.
I don't know. I got short that day or something, but it's always fantastic when Alex decides to visit Topeka. She's been gone for a while. You were, oh my gosh, this woman has traveled the world. 30 countries before you were 30 years old. By the time you were 30 years old, right? Mm-hmm. That was a goal.
That was a goal.
Yeah. And about, let's see, 2 years ago you moved to or a year and a half ago to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Back to Cleveland from
London.
Where you were?
I got my master's at London College of Fashion in fashion entrepreneurship and innovation.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And you have your own website called Alex in July. You do a podcast, which is really interesting and fun.
We're recording this right now.
Oh, we are?
No,
this is a podcast?
kidding.
Oh, okay. All of a sudden I got nervous.
I have yet to have my mom on my podcast, but...
I know. Everybody else has but me. What's the story with that?
My most followed podcast is actually the one with my dad.
My husband.
Where we talked about a story in London where he met his idol, Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. So
yeah,
you have to top that story.
Yeah, that's right. We were in the Alexander McQueen boutique, and she and I were wandering around looking at clothes, and we came downstairs, and here was Craig sitting on a bench next to Billy Gibbons. I mean, this was the highlight of course, we were in London to see Alex, but that's all Craig talks about now is his encounter with Billy Gibbons, and to heck with seeing Alex in London.
Yep.
Well, I have a couple of things I wanted to show you. I've been collecting Alex's work since she was a little girl, and
I didn't know this was happening.
No, and one of my favorite things of all times is this little wood collage. So, how old were you when you made this?
I think I remember making it. You took me to that art school at Washburn.
Okay.
I was really young.
Maybe like 5 or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Hopefully, it wasn't last year. I guess. Is what
I don't know. I think it could be. I mean, I think it's as cool as you see now. But you've always been artistic, and I don't know that I knew just how artistic you are until you've currently doing your whole Alex in July branding company where you do social media work for companies all over the country, and you do your own prints of drawings that you've done of London, and you do logos for people, and it's amazing work. And then the other thing that I keep around that's one of my favorite things, I love this. I love this. Now, this was later on when we both got interested in textile collage and hand stitching. She's the one who introduced me to Alabama Channon, where we went to Florence, Alabama, took a hand sewing course with Natalie Channon, and I got all interested in hand sewing again, which I hadn't done in years. And I think it was somewhere in this time frame maybe that you made this beautiful little machine and hand sewn quilt, and you made me a couple of quilts, one of which I have in my bedroom. So but I look at this every day in my sewing room at home, and I just love it.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. And you did something for us. When you were in London, you designed the icons.
I did. I made kind of a series of embroidery designs that had to do with my time in London. So I sketched different famous places in London and turned them into embroidery designs. And I guess it was September of last year, I taught a class on it. You had a little class here where people picked out their kits and stitched, and kind of what I dubbed stitch kits. And
and you're getting ready to add these embroidery designs of all kinds to your website.
Yeah.
the Alex in July website. Yeah. But the name of your podcast is Alex, Not Alice.
Yes.
Do people really call you Alice?
So in London, I think the X letter is like really hard to say. So whenever I'd get coffee, like 9 times out of 10, they'd ask who the order was for, and I'd say Alex. And they would write on the cup Alice all the time.
Every time.
So Alex was not really a name that was super common. So
Okay.
Alice, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I wondered where that came from because you've always been Alex to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today is a really fun presentation. Alex flew in from Cleveland on Sunday. And immediately, of course, we watched all of the Justin Timberlake concerts, the best concerts of Justin, because that's her favorite artist. And I spoiled you because I remember I took you and Jackie to Chicago to see Justin Timberlake and Christina Aguilera back when you were like in junior high or something.
That's
Yeah, and so from then on, she's seen Justin Timberlake
I think it's like 6 times.
6 times
Yeah.
in everything from Vegas to Cleveland to London to Paris to
Yeah.
Chicago to
Well,
Kansas.
and I have the best parents because I bought tickets for myself for Christmas to go see Justin Timberlake a couple of years ago, and I couldn't go. I forget why.
It was last year, actually.
Was it last
I think
year?
so.
And I couldn't go, so my mom and dad went to a Justin Timberlake concert without me even there.
Of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was great. What great parents. I mean, you guys already know how great Linda Lee is, so I'm just telling you from a daughter's perspective.
Okay. But at any rate, she flew in on Sunday, came into the office yesterday, and at home went through the closet, your closet, and brought in some things that you'd made. And then came to the office and pulled some other things that you had made or I had made for you, things that we'd collaborated on over the years. And then you went to the fabric inventory and chose some new things. So what you're going to see today is an assortment of patterns and fabrics that you've made and how you would redo them today if you were remaking them again. So, but show them the first garment you ever made
Okay.
of ours.
I think this is the first pattern of the sewing workshop. So this is the trio. And I remember being so excited that I was mixing a solid knit with a print on the sleeve. Like I felt like no one was doing it at the time. Now it's like all over the place. But this is really fun.
Now this is a pattern that, as a printed pattern, has been discontinued. But we do have the plus size patterns as a download available on the website. And we are...
They're all up.
Oh, all the sizes are up there. Thank you, Erin. Never mind. We have this pattern. Oh my gosh, when did that happen? Was I out that day or something? I don't.
This morning, it listed all.
Well, great. All the sizes from extra small through XXL, from 1X to now I don't know whether it's 4X or 5X. Maybe just 4X. We'd have to look, but at any rate, this pattern never goes out of style. These raglan sleeves. And if you think you can't wear raglan sleeves, well, you can wear this because there's a seam that comes across the shoulder and down the sleeve, and so you can shape that. And that's always the problem with raglan sleeves and people thinking they can't wear them. You maybe have sloped shoulders or there's something about your shoulders that doesn't work in a raglan, but you can when you can shape this seam line to fit the contour of your body. So anyway, I love seeing this, and I love the color combination, and even though you made this, 15 years ago or something like that, it's still today is a garment you could wear.
Yeah, and my kind of claim to fame with this is I think growing up with Linda and the sewing workshop and access to all her knits and patterns is I've always loved sewing with knits. I don't ever remember having like a fear that I think many people do now of working with knits, and so it's my favorite fabric to work with. So if I were going to make this now, I chose these two options instead of picking a solid with a print. Why not just do 2 prints? So you got this great black print with this awesome red leopard. Why not?
So would you use this as the body and this as the sleeves, or would it matter? Yeah.
I think I would. Yep.
Yeah.
This be the body, this be the sleeve.
Yeah. These are both viscose knits. One is they're both viscose knits. They have a similar feel to them, but they're not exactly the same weight, and that's not really a problem.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really cool combination.
Yeah.
All right, so what's next? What are we going to look at next?
Next, Were we going to the wall?
Yeah.
I think,
This one?
yeah, this was kind of recent. I remember looking at a Vogue magazine issue and just looking at a picture of an advertisement, and this shirt had something different on the front, on the back, and on both sleeves. So I basically just kind of copied this print from the ad and was like, I can do that. So I remember kind of taking the colorway and the aesthetic and just picking out fabrics, and it's like, this is the Hudson.
This is the Hudson top, and it's almost unrecognizable because you've left off the cowl that comes on the pattern, and this is just the normal neckline, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you altered the neckline. This is an ITY knit. This is a jersey knit in rayon. These are probably rayon. So these have very different feels, but they really work together. And then the sleeves look like, to me, that you've tapered them. It's been a while since you've made this, so I can't remember. But that is what I do to the Hudson top now. Instead of the long, full sleeves, I do like to have a tapered sleeve when I have a more oversized body to a garment. This can be long, this can be short, it can be worn over things, under things, whatever. You did a good job on that neckline, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and then these are your favorite pencil pants, and I have on the same pencil pants, and I wore them specifically so that you all know that 2 generations, 41 years apart, 31 years apart. Oh, yeah. 31 years apart. No, 31 years apart. It doesn't matter. I'm older.
You're a little older.
I'm a little older.
Well,
Can wear the same type of garment.
Yeah.
Even in the same fabric.
Yeah.
We like some of the same things, not all, but.
Well, I mean, the shirt you're wearing now was actually my shirt.
Yes, that's true. She left it in Topeka, so I have a new shirt.
The jacket you're wearing now, I think I wore hundreds of times.
Yes.
At this point. We have the same shoes. I don't know if you can see our shoes. So
No, probably not.
anyway, we have the same shoes on.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, we have a shoe fetish in this family. All right, so what's next?
Cool. Let's do the ET.
All right. So we have a pattern called the ET, which looks like this if you make it. Kind of shaped, has a curved hem, short sleeve. So what'd you do to it?
So kind of the same thing. I get just tons of inspiration from like Vogue or Pinterest. I'll just like find something and figure out how to copy it. So I remember seeing this like reversed two-toned T-shirt, just a basic T-shirt with kind of longer sleeves and a boxed out. But it was boxed out and it had a shirt tail hem. Is that the right?
Yeah.
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 So I took a plain white knit, a plain black knit, and made it.
And you said the only part that was tricky about this was just figuring out which side to flip the pattern pieces to make sure you got the right sides of the right knit on the right side of the garment.
Right.
All that.
Pattern pieces had to be reversed and
But I like the way you reverse the sleeve so the black is on the white and the white's on the black.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And so you put it with this skirt.
This is the 8th Avenue skirt, and this is a scuba print. This was really fun to make, but I remember thinking that with this particular scuba knit, because it's so stretchy, didn't actually need the zipper, because you can just pull it on just fine.
True.
But this is true to the pattern, but this was really fun.
Yeah,
to
this
wear.
skirt, you may not be able to see this, but it has this more rectangular right side and right front and right back, and then it has a piece that's more like a triangle that is actually cut on the bias that's inserted. So this section can be a contrast of something if you choose to do that. All right, so what would you do it in now?
Okay, so this would be really
Okay,
fun.
I have to get it over here now.
Okay, so just like I did a simple black and white, why not do a neon with a really bold pink? So you could do both of these together, kind of do the same thing, like split the pattern in half and use both of these fabrics. And then the skirt, I thought it would be fun to use this. What is this? This is, they call it a kimono stripe, but you've kind of got the pink with the yellow, with the green, and it would be fun to kind of use it in the skirt in various dimensions and angles.
Well, I think it could go a couple of ways. I think the more rectangular parts of the skirt could be horizontal, and then the triangle part would be on the diagonal. Or you could run the stripe on the vertical and still have it on the diagonal in the insert. So this is a really, really interesting fabric, and it changes. The repeat is fairly large, as I recall, but I don't think it really matters that you match. And of course, if you do vertical, you don't have to do any matching at all. And then with the bias insertion, you don't have to worry about that matching at these seams. So I think that's a really interesting and really cool interpretation. So, all right. So you chose to do a white band. You could have done black, but you would do the neon, the pink, and reverse those, and then choose one of them for the neckband and reverse the sleeve. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, why not neon?
Why not neon?
Why not neon?
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
That's what I think.
what's next?
Next is the San Diego. So I think I actually made this as a sample when this pattern was first coming out. So I remember picking these fabrics, not really thinking that it wasn't maybe the best idea to mix a woven with a knit, which is what I did. So this is a woven here in the front, but then the back and the sleeves are a solid knit. And I ended up loving it.
Yeah,
So,
you did something to the inside of this, though, for a reason.
Yeah.
You underlined the knit portion
Yeah.
because you were thinking that the knit might cling.
Yes. Which
And
it
so
did.
you lined it with, or underlined it with Bemberg rayon, which I think helped a couple of things. It helped make this read more solid than being able to see through it just a little bit, and it made it hang better, and it didn't cling to whatever is underneath. So,
Yep.
yeah. All right. So, what would you do this in?
So going off the like blend with knit and woven, this up here is kind of what you see for that. So this purple is this beautiful kind of heathered knit, and then I think we thought like this print here could be kind of that front piece, and then mixing in this plaid with either the sleeves or even something on the collar where it turns up.
Yeah, you have these deep facings, so when this collar hangs in certain ways, you see the facing. So you could mix one of the solids or one of the plaid or the floral. There's all kinds of ways to mix this up, I think.
Yep.
You could add a yoke in the back and do part of it as a woven and mix the plaid or this. Yeah. This is the San Diego tunic. We used to have the San Diego jacket pattern years ago, which we discontinued. And then we brought it out again and put the jacket pattern in the pattern and then added the tunic and the top. So there are 3 pieces to that pattern. So and we make a lot of variations of the San Diego. I think over the years it used to be our #1 selling pattern, may still be, I haven't looked lately, but the fact that we can make jackets and bomber jackets and dresses and tunics and long sleeves and short sleeves, it's really, really versatile and one of my favorite patterns of all time, and it seems to never go out of style.
Yeah, that bomber jacket variation, which we don't have up here, is also one of my favorites. So. This was also kind of another fun woven knit hybrid. This is the Memphis dress, and I think I was kind of part of helping develop and do some samples for that pattern. So at the time you had a border print, which I thought would be fun to kind of use as kind of piecing in parts of this dress, and then also using it on the sleeves and planning that out, and also here for this bottom border.
So this is cotton, like a cotton broadcloth, I would call it, with the raised white embroidered designs. And then this is black jersey knit. Now you have on the same garment.
I do.
But you left off this bottom band. So
Yes.
this is very hard to see in black, but this entire section here is an added band. And you just didn't put it on this garment. And that's when it becomes then more of a tunic or a short dress. And I think it's really cute that way. I think
this
Erin
was
might have been
fun.
the first one to actually do this on a garment.
Yeah, this was fun. It's this kind of piece down here has progressively grown,
Yeah,
kind of long.
that can happen with some of these jersey knits. This has been hanging in your closet for a while, and we think it's grown a couple of inches.
I remember wearing it as a dress in London, and I was going down to the tube on an escalator, and I got to the end of the tube, and there was like the wind from the escalator that came up. I remember the dress, it flew up. Everyone saw everything. It was great. It was a fabulous day.
Yeah, so. Really. All right, so what would you do? Well, then we have this version as well on the wall,
yeah.
which is more like a lightweight ponte knit that has a little bit of a glazed design to it. But again, some sleeves that are a different fabric. Now, both of these are knits. This is more of a mesh type knit. I think this can go dressy. Well, it can go every day, really, but either one. But there is something about this one where you could dress this up and wear it to your Christmas dinner at home or wherever and feel really dressed up. We've kind of kicked this with this knotted scarf, which is something that Erin developed that would make a fun gift for Christmas. And it's made out of a series of jersey tubes that have been pulled so they curl. And we have this pattern as a download on our website. So the knotted scarf tutorial and how to do it. But Erin wears this quite a bit, actually. This is one of your favorite scarves. So what would you do this in now?
Well, kind of going with the pairing of knit and woven for these dresses, there is this fabulous chicken fabric right now. This is really cool. So it's not a border print, which is okay, but kind of thinking about how you can kind of piece together this woven or the chickens into the dress. So maybe on the sleeves, maybe on that bottom band portion, and then here is just kind of a great option for the rest of the dress.
Yesterday when we were working with this, we had the tendency to want to pull out one of these fabrics or one of these colors to use for the dress part, and Alex kept shaking her head, and she was absolutely right. I think when you do something like this and you're mixing it, black is just the way to go.
Well, she pulled out like a pumpkin color, and I was like, if you wear chickens and a pumpkin color, like that's just a little...
Okay, I got it.
Maybe a little much,
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right.
But cool.
So this is rayon woven, and this is a lightweight ponte. We have a new shipment of lightweight black ponte that's just come in. There's been some back orders going on with that. Hopefully you all have it by now that had back ordered it. But we do have it, and it's a fantastic fabric for everything from dresses, tops, pants, skirts, whatever.
Now for this dress, we paired it with these two red options, so kind of a red dress variation for this. So this kind of beautiful metallic sheer.
Yeah, this is a sheer. So you could leave this as a sheer, obviously for the sleeves, but you might be in trouble on this insert, so you could underline it in black or red, or sometimes you can just experiment by putting a sheer over some really oddball color, and it turns it into something more interesting or more fun. But I think this is a really cool interpretation. This is regular weight ponte knit. We have determined that because of this stretching fabric that can happen with the lightweight jerseys and viscose knits on the Memphis dress, that we like the Memphis dress in a little, something that's just a little beefier, a little gutsier, a little more stable, and that puts it into the ponte category, the lightweight ponte category, or maybe a little heavier cotton knit. But the slinky rayon knits or the really lightweight tissue weight knits, maybe avoid those for this pattern. So yep. Memphis dress. It's not named after Memphis, Tennessee, by the way. Did you know that?
Which is where Justin Timberlake is from.
Of course. Okay. Well, but there was a movement, a furniture movement called Memphis that came out of Italy, where they would take furniture and every component of, let's say, a sofa was a different color. Red arms, green seats, blue backs, yellow legs, whatever. And so it was pieces of furniture that were all broken up as color blocking, and when we did this pattern and it was all broken up into these sections, these interesting sections, that's how I came up with the name Memphis. Did you know that?
I didn't. I thought it was for Justin Timberlake.
Of course you would, but no, it's not. Okay.
Mom, how would you describe my style?
Your style?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. You know, you have two styles that go on. There is an occasional preppy style with you, and that's coming up right here. Well, this is preppy with a little edge to it.
Yeah.
But you also are very sophisticated in your taste as well. And you like asymmetric things. You like mixtures of textures and colors and motifs. You like edgy things, but every once in a while you just put on that classic crew neck sweater with some jeans and some Converse tennis shoes, and that's you also. So, you know, she's an athlete. She played college volleyball, played volleyball from the time she was 10 and up, and so there was always that athlete part of you too that likes sweatshirts and sweatpants, and so you're a mixed bag.
Well, this was a surprising thing I think that I liked, but my mom came to visit me in London, and we went to our favorite department store, Liberty London, and rolled in and saw this shirt.
Kind of, sort of,
basically.
yeah.
And
we took a picture of it, and
it was even more loud in a way. It was red stripes and blue stripes. So,
yeah. So came home and did this pattern. Has this great two-piece sleeve with the pleats in it that create this natural bunching of the sleeve. And two different stripes, two different widths of stripes. This is in a cotton knit. And the right side of this is shifted so that they are not matched at the top or the bottom. And that is on purpose.
but this is really fun. And if I were to make this again, I would kind of in a similar way with the different dimensions and widths of stripes. You've got a really thick red stripe here, a really thin red stripe here. So I'd probably pair it with like a matching color, but just kind of play with how the widths are with the knits. So can't go wrong with a stripe knit ever. You know,
Exactly.
Linda kind of dubs that with even collars.
I love stripes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean can't go wrong.
Can't get enough stripes. I have on the Ann's cardigan in a stripe, and I like the way it is a horizontal stripe, but by the time you have this drape and what happens with the angles and the drape at the bottom, then all those striped angles come into play, and you're not just this striped, level, horizontal, stationary stripe thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what you would wear with your Marceau top?
Yeah, I think
Your Madrid pants?
my Madrid pants.
Yeah.
These are great because they can be as skinny as you want them to be.
Right.
So
The nice thing about this pant, if I may interrupt, is that there are lots of seams, so there's lots of opportunities for fitting. There's a seam down the center front where there would normally be a pleat, side seams, a seam down the center of each leg. So you can really shape and get these skinny if you want. This is the fabric that I tout all the time. This is the black cotton lycra that I've made my Picasso pants out of. I've made, I don't know, this has been one of our most popular fabrics since I started talking about this fabric in the summer.
And I love the zipper detail on the back.
Yeah, there is this great little zipper detail in the lower part of the leg in the back. And we have these great zippers, these little black and white striped zippers that make great little accent zippers. So I think when you make this pant, you want something with a little bit of stretch for a little bit of comfort. So you picked out this denim as of all the denims that we have, and we have a lot of denims, this one was the one you picked out, which is a black denim, and it does have good stretch to it. But of all the denims, you picked this. You just went to this one because of the black. Do you think is that what caught your eye, or the distressed part of it, or I don't know?
Well, it's very clean. Like it's, I don't know
Yeah.
actually.
Anyway, it'd make a great pair of Madrid pants.
Yeah.
The point is, there you go. All right, you can just throw that over there. Okay. All right.
Next, one of my favorite shirts is the Zane.
And
Yeah.
you named this one for?
I named this one for the former One Direction band member, Zane. I love my boy band. So yeah, Zane is no longer with One Direction. He's just a solo artist.
Oh, well, I knew that, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Zane.
So do we have to change the name of the garment? Because he's... Never mind.
Probably.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay.
This was actually made out of a coated fabric, so terribly difficult to make. But I taught a class on how to do this at So Easy TV,
right.
working with coated fabric. So
Can they still get that TV show?
I think it's on at like 3 in the morning
Yeah.
on PBS.
Yeah.
I still get emails every once in a while.
Yeah. Do you get and you get all that money, that commission
Yeah,
money?
like 25 cents every.
Every year too.
It's great.
Yeah.
But there's like a plated foot that you can use. There's tons of tools to help you make
Right.
this fabric. But I remember, I guess I started this story, so I have to finish it. But I had this
I don't know if I want to hear
picture on like a profile. Well, it's not. It's fine. I had a picture of me wearing this on a profile, and someone commented and said, "Are you wearing a tablecloth?" I was like, "No. Why would you insult my Zane like that?" I think it's like the coolest shirt ever, but obviously it's bold and loud and very printed, and it is coated, so it kind of probably does feel like a coated tablecloth.
Yeah, exactly. But you can make it in like a double knit, so it can be a knit or a woven, and you can make it in stripes. This is a rayon challis, and you can change the direction of the stripes so you don't have to do so much matching. There's a seam here, but there's no seam over here. Same thing for the back.
I mean, can we just like applaud ourselves for matching these stripes?
We use our fusee web in the seam allowance to fuse that seam together on the ironing surface, pin, 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 and then fuse it together, and then you sew it using a walking foot as well. And that is the best way to match stripes, for sure. So,
Yeah,
that's...
if I were to make the Zane again, I'm a big fan of pink. So, just grab it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, a solid pink shirt would just be a fabulous idea.
Yes, and that's what you want for Christmas, as I recall. So I'm making something out of this fabric, maybe a Zane, maybe I don't know what, but a fabric, something like that for Christmas is your Christmas present.
Yep. And this is like the best. I love this tone of pink.
Yeah, it's not super, super hot like neon, but it matches your nail polish, from what I can tell here. And then you picked out this fabulous print. That would make a great Zane. And this is a print that looks almost as good on the back side as the front, which is sort of nice on this kind of garment, because when you get a drape, you can occasionally see the wrong side. And so you have to think about that. It doesn't have to match, but you do have to like it, at least, or think it looks pretty good. And this one works in that way. And then you saw this a couple of weeks ago or last week, but oh my gosh, this is absolutely one of my favorite fabrics in the store right now. This is the eyes and the lips. It's silk and viscose, 70% viscose rayon and 30% silk. But this is so darn cute.
This would be a very festive Zane. It'd be really fun.
And we just got it in. This is a navy background, and we just got it in a few days ago with a white background. And the way it's coming off the bolt is upside down, but it doesn't really matter, except that there is a direction to it because of the words. You have to pay attention to that. But really, really fun. I love all these novelty prints, and they're very difficult to find. So whenever we see them, we always order a lot of the fabric so we have it.
Cool.
All right.
You mentioned my athletic tendencies. I love a good sweatshirt. So this is the
That is the Bristol.
And this can be made in tons of variations, but this is the one that's, I think, on the pattern. So it's the shorter version, but you can make it as a tunic or a dress. And so if I were to make this now, there's this lovely kind of sweater knit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a lot of ribbings too. We have a cinnamon colored ribbing. We have a yellow ribbing, a saffron ribbing. So if you wanted to use ribbing on the bottom or on the cuff or even on the yoke, you could do that with this sweater knit. But I love the way this is drapey, and yet it just has the right weight as well. So, and it's polyester, which is going to hold its shape. That's the nice thing about polyester knits and sweater knits, is they're not going to get baggy and saggy and all out of shape. Let's go back one step to what you put with this. I thought this was interesting, what Alex paired and wore with her Zane. This, and it's a pattern that we hardly ever talk about. This is the Oasis skirt. This is literally one piece of fabric with one seam. And the seam is over here on the right-hand side, but it has a little vent with a placket on the left side. You would think that would be put in the seam on the right side, but we actually put it on the left side. Super easy to make, and I love it that you made it in this glistening, luminescent fabric, which we don't have anymore, but we do have this one, which I love. And it's just perfect. To me, you take something like this and you dress it down with a sweater or a sweatshirt or some patterned top. You don't have to wear this to a party. Put some boots with it, some sneakers, and really have fun with this simple, simple skirt that you can make in no time at all. This has the perfect drape and just a little bit of a shine to it, not a lot.
Yeah, these are intentionally supposed to go together too. I also got that from a picture on a magazine.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. Okay. Now you all have seen this. You might have to put this on, this coat. You sent me a picture of a coat. I'm not sure, J. Crew or somebody. And you wanted a long gray knit coat. So I actually made this for you. And this is in a ponte knit, a Chicago jacket. And I think I added something like 17 inches. I can't remember. It's been a few years since not a few years, a couple of years since I made it for you. But I'm surprised this stayed in Kansas, frankly, because I thought you would take this to Cleveland.
Well, usually the things I like are stolen and they're here now.
I see. Is that how that works? Well, I love this coat, so maybe that is what happened. But put it over a print. This is named after you. This is the Alex top, and it has the insertion of an A, so there's a seam here and a seam here in an A shape. And you made it short sleeve instead of long sleeved, and you left off the cowl neck, but it makes a great top, and it's fun to wear it under that gray coat. By the way, on this coat, I've talked about this before, but you notice that hangs straight and it does not split open. And the reason is that I added what's called walking ease. I added 1.5 inches to the bottom of this hemline and then tapered that back up to the original width here. So this actually has a wedge added to the front on both sides of each front. But you can't see that when it's on or when you're wearing it. If I had not done that, that coat would splay open and it would drive you crazy. So, little tidbit.
Brilliant.
And that's on the blog. Very good. So you would make that now in, whoops.
The Alex I'd make, there's some great just prints you have, so this really cool.
This is a knit
yellow
print, a viscose print. Isn't this incredible? Yeah, I'm all over this one.
Yeah.
So you hold that and let me get what would be the coat. This is this ponte knit in this beautiful spruce blue color. I actually took a hunk of this the other day. I'm going to make some helix pants out of this color. And I'm going to wear my green with this. This goes with a lot of colors. I think no matter what your colorway is, whether you're a winter or a summer or a whatever you are, you can put your color with this and it becomes almost like black pants, but it's just not another pair of black something or other. But make the Chicago coat out of this, put a t-shirt with it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Next up, we've got kind of another sweater option. I used to work at the Bernina Sewing Centers in Kansas City, and I remember kind of one of the benefits of working there was I just got to sit in front of the sewing machine a lot. So I remember making a lot of samples, and this was one of the things I made, I think, in like a day, just sitting at the sewing machine and making a sample. So
Right.
this is the Eureka top, and it's
you didn't put on the 2-inch bands
Oh, yeah.
on the sleeve. That's the only thing that's different.
Yep.
You did some binding around the neck and then replicated that on the arm side, so it can become more of a vest, can become a shirt, top, whatever, but put it over another Alex top. This time the Alex top has the cowl and full-length sleeves. And so you chose this fabric. Ugh. I think. Isn't this
Yeah,
what you chose?
I think so.
Yeah. So this is a knit. This is like an interlock knit, but isn't this a great pattern? I think the colors are wonderful. The feel is nice. It's a nice mid-weight, but it still has drape to it. So I think that make a great sweater. We have all kinds of things that go with this, which we're not going to show you, but we have like a ginger-colored fleece that we'd pulled out yesterday. We have some of the grays, the blues, other pinks that look really good with it.
We even, like you mentioned, you were making the helix pants out of that green. It'd be kind
Oh
of
yeah,
fun
that even goes, doesn't
to
it?
go with that
All
in
right.
a way.
Cool. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Next, this was something you made me for Christmas a couple years ago.
You wanted a velvet shirt.
I did, because Hailey Bieber was wearing velvet shirts all the time. So I love pop culture, just in case you guys didn't notice.
Yeah. Well, she's pretty cool, and she dresses pretty cool. And I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live in a few weeks on sewing on velvet. So we're not going to really get into sewing this now, but just know that we have a lot of velvets. Not a lot, I shouldn't say a lot. We have several velvets, 4 or 5 velvets on hand, and they are the rayon silk velvets, which are very drapey, really incredible, and takes some doing to know how to handle these, and I'm going to be going through all the processes of how to sew on this kind of velvet in an upcoming Facebook Live. We also have a tutorial on sewing velvet that is basically what I'm going to talk about, so I'm sure we'll have a special on that particular tutorial at the time. So,
And this is the London shirt.
but whatever you choose to make in velvet, I would suggest that you make something simple. Not a lot of seams, not a lot of fitting. So,
This wasn't the easiest.
no, it never is. But actually, it does become easy when you use what I use, which I'll save it for the moment. All right, couple more.
This is one of my favorite shirts of all time, the
Sienna.
Sienna, and we've lengthened it and added slits in the side, these vents, and so I've worn it, with like Bermuda shorts. I've worn it with pants, but it's definitely kind of a white linen, so it's great for the summer. But I love what I picked out for this option. So we've, of course, added plaid here with the buttons and the collar, and here in the back. So there's this really fun print.
This print, we have a new group of prints that have just come in that you're going to be seeing more of that are in panels. So, for instance, this is a scene, sort of an architectural landscape style scene, and you buy it by the panel. You can see here's the edge of the cutting line for the panel. So that would be broken up and become portions. There's a seam here, so you would break that up and use this plaid with it. That is pretty cool. So here's where the two personalities come in. You have your traditional plaid and your very modern print combined in one.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. All right. And we have one more. So last year, Alex wanted this for Christmas.
I did. This is
The coat for Christmas. This is the flat iron coat. And we've talked about the flat iron actually recently, so we don't need to go into great detail, but we do have a couple of really, really special fabrics that have just come in to use for this. And one is, they're both heavy and big. So this is the base of this is a faux fur, slightly fuzzy, and then it has an impression of a little patent leather design on it that's really embossed. That's the word I've been looking for all morning. Finally it came when it was supposed to. These embossed impressions of patent leather in a skin-like motif. What a fantastic flat iron this would be.
so weird and
Yeah,
cool.
so interesting. So another Facebook Live coming up is going to be how to sew with fur. And then this one just walked in the door. And I wanted to just show you what that SKU number is. Here, you hold this one. This is the SKU number for this fabric. So let's get it out here. This is amazing. This is a printed wool. Look at that. This gorgeous Christmas green with this burgundy maroon motif on it. Fabulous coat, jacket, skirt. Throw, line this with velvet, put it on your sofa. Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. Okay.
Be cool. All those three together.
My mic.
Well,
All right, so
those are all my favorite things.
we've done everything, haven't we? Yeah. So let's take some questions.
Okay. A lot of questions. What type of fabric was the purple flat iron coat?
The purple flat iron coat was like a Melton. We don't have this fabric anymore. We have lots of coatings, but we don't have this one. But it is a wool Melton.
The blue plaid. Want to know if it's cotton?
This is all cotton. This is from a fine shirt making company out of Los Angeles that we just got in, and we have several new cotton plaids that have just come in. All cotton.
The sienna. How much did you lengthen that, and how long are the bends?
I don't know exactly how long we've lengthened it, but I'm going to say 10 inches as a guess. And the slits are maybe 12 inches or so. I think that's determined by how you're going to wear it and where you want it to open up on your body. You would sort of determine that after the fact.
A lot of questions about any tips on combining the knits with the wovens.
You know, I get that question a lot. Did you have any trouble when you were doing it?
I'm trying to think. I'm probably maybe like the most trouble with the San Diego, but
Generally, I don't have any trouble. And so I'm always pretty willing to say to people that don't worry about it. I think if something is really, really slinky, which this is not, like think slinky knit, which we don't see so much anymore, and put it with something slick like taffeta, that would be hard. And so you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. You would test that. Get all your tools worked out ahead of time, whether you need the walking foot, whether you have to do a little fusee web, pre-basting, some stay tape on the knit part. You know, you just work out the engineering of your issues ahead of time before you start the garment.
I would also say to have accurate and really fine cutting principles. Make sure you're cutting accurate to the pattern and not, really being mindful of the notches and being mindful of just your accuracy.
Right,
in cutting.
accuracy in marking and cutting out. We use rotary cutters here. Not everyone does, but it does give you a smoother line, and I think a slightly more accurate, precise cutting.
The floral Hudson, how did you finish the neckline without the cowl?
So the cowl piece is a rectangle, and I don't remember exactly how high, but let's just say 12 inches by whatever the circumference of the neck opening is. So to do this, you simply cut that down to a more normal binding width, which in our case is 2¼ inches, and use the same length and put it on in the same way that you would apply the cowl. You don't have to create a new piece. You're just making the piece that's there narrower.
Okay, they want to see the pencil pants on you, so I'm going to move back.
All right.
Let's see how far I can get. Like, tell them
Cuffed, of course.
Cuffed.
what we're doing.
Yeah, these are my pencil pants. This casing, it's a 1½ inch wide casing with a 3/4 inch wide elastic that's sewn to one layer on the back side before it's applied. It's really comfortable and really smooth. So it's elastic but not a lot of gathers. And I cuff mine. I don't know if do you do that anymore in the winter? Should I put some socks on and some boots with this now and get rid of the bare leg and some, yeah.
Probably.
I'm just about to that season. I always know when winter is finally here when I have to start wearing socks, which is really not my preference.
Although you have a lot of socks.
I do have a lot of socks, yes.
A couple questions about shoes. Why don't you guys name off a couple brands that are your favorite?
Ooh.
Well, you have on Vegas?
Yeah, Veja. Veja. V-E-J-A.
V-E-J-A sneakers.
They're made in France, but they're designed in Brazil. But they're all sustainable, so like vegan leather, no plastics. It's all like, it's just a great like sustainable sneaker brand.
And then I have on Yamamoto's
Y3s,
Y3s.
which is a part of Adidas.
Is that right?
Adidas Y3.
I didn't know that. Made in Japan, though. What other shoes do you like?
Ooh, I mean, I would say, well, I love sneakers.
Yeah.
Lately, you've probably seen my mom's gotten into like painting Vans.
Yeah. I go out to the
that's
mall,
fun.
go to Journeys and buy Vans in white or pink or whatever, and I paint them. Yes.
What's that great brand that we discovered in Vancouver?
Oh, it starts with an F. They're handmade shoes in Vancouver. Furnick, that's not it, but I'm close.
Yeah.
That is a really interesting brand of shoes. We'll find that and we'll put that on Facebook.
Yeah, we might have to like go in our closets and post
Yeah,
some pictures.
yeah. And of course, I'm in the Golden Goose, big time, mostly for looking. They have really interesting sneakers. For summer, I had a couple of Buenos, B-U-E-N-O, that I liked a lot. And then you have on Paul Green. Erin has on Paul Green, which she likes. So those are our sneaker top
Yeah.
lines
All of a
today.
sudden, I can't think of any.
I
but
know.
yeah.
Whatever.
So
Yep.
many.
I do love Adidas. Adidas has more than just athletic shoes.
Oh, we were talking about Off-Whites. the
Oh,
other day.
Off-Whites. That's a brand. That's a great brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a brand of the Louis Vuitton designer, his own brand.
Right,
And,
and then
his shoes, you have to wear his shoes with the plastic tag on it, which is kind of a fun.
Right. If you watched
element.
Dancing with the Stars last night, you saw Nelly in them.
It's true.
Are you impressed
Uh-huh. Yep.
that I know who Nelly is? Yeah. Okay.
I have to watch. Okay. Can the Memphis pattern be shortened?
The Memphis pattern can be shortened. I recommend that it be shortened. It depends on how much you're going to shorten it. If you're going to shorten it a lot, then you want to shorten it in more than one place. A little bit at the bottom, a little bit through the body, and a little bit right below the bust. If you just want to take off a couple of inches, just shorten it at the very bottom on that band.
If you narrow the Hudson sleeve, would you adjust it at the seam, or did you change the sleeve opening in the body as well?
When I narrowed the Hudson sleeve or tapered it, I left the original circumference of the arm's eye and simply determined the length that I wanted. I determined the circumference that I wanted at that length, and then I drew a line from the underarm to that new point, straight line.
Can you guys remind them what you're wearing?
I'm wearing the Anne's cardigan over an ET that I made by hand that has some reverse applique. This is actually a piece of white that's underneath the black. This is an Alabama Channon design, really, but you could use any letter that you wanted. And then I put some beads on it. And the pencil pants.
I'm wearing a variation of the Memphis dress, so I've just made it into a tunic by taking out the bottom band. And then...
You just have on some leggings.
Yep.
Yeah.
The sweater knit, I think it's a polyester. Is it clingy?
Is it clingy? You know, this does not seem clingy to me. I don't think so. Does that seem like a clingy knit to you? Not really.
Nope.
Do we have the walking ease in the patterns, or is it just the go to the blog and figure?
The walking ease is not in the patterns. And you don't need the walking ease added to the regular Chicago. It's only when you're lengthening something that you want to add walking ease. So if we come out with a long coat, we build in the walking ease. But if we're making a jacket into something longer, the ease is not built in.
On the Facebook Live announcements, what jacket are you wearing, Linda? I think it's...
Oh, on the announcements, the email that goes out, I am...
That green one.
The green one. I'm wearing the Detour jacket, which is the first pattern that was introduced as part of So Confident 2020.
Okay. Do you have gift certificates for presents for sewing friends?
We have gift certificates that you can purchase on the website. So yes, and starting next week, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to be talking about things to make for friends, things to give to friends, gift ideas, and that sort of thing. So you'll hear more about that. But yes, we do have gift certificates that you can purchase on the website. Where do they find that, Erin?
We have a gift section, but it's also like under What's New, and it's a digital card.
Yeah,
So
it's
use
under
only
What's
on-
New, and it's a digital card.
Use only on the website.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can you repeat what the velvet top is? What pattern?
The velvet top is the London shirt. Yeah.
And with the ET work in velvet.
Oh, the ET in velvet would be beautiful. Now, the ET is meant for a knit fabric, and velvet, at least the velvets that we have, are wovens. You would have to make sure that you have enough ease. So you probably would go up at least a size, because that would be 2 inches, and maybe even more. So you'd have to make sure that you're measuring your pattern and adjusting it for standard woven eases, but it'd be beautiful in velvet. Now, velour is a stretch velvet. So if you're thinking of a velvety type fabric for the ET, you could investigate velours, which are stretchy.
Did you use snaps on the wool Melton flat iron?
We use snaps on the wool Melton flat iron, and we have those big, great gunmetal snaps that are perfect for the flat iron, and then we sell them in groups of 3.
What are you buying?
You buy them separately?
Yes.
Buy them individually, okay.
The yellow and purple fabric, is that knit or woven?
These are woven, and the knit is knit. The this one is knit, and the 2 prints are woven.
I asked about that denim. I assume the denim is in with the grouping.
It is. And by the way, on the grouping, we now have a new feature on our homepage. You go to our homepage and you can see a block on the right-hand side that says Shop Weekly Sale. And that's where you will find all the items now that we refer to in the Facebook Lives every week and that are on special.
The panel print, how do you convert yardage to know how many panels you need?
We give the dimension of the panel, and in this case it happens to be a yard, or maybe it's minus an inch or two. But you're going to have to think about repeat and how you're going to use it. And so obviously, since you have to buy it by the panel, and the panel is, say, 35 inches, and let's say the garment requires a yard and a half, you're going to have to buy 2 panels.
Okay, for the pencil pants, if you are kind of an extra large on top for the stomach, but you have thinner legs, how would you?
Well, you're going to, for the pencil pants, if you go by your hip size, and whatever your hip size is your starting size. And then you adjust for your waist, you make it larger or smaller, and then you narrow the legs from there. And you have the other sizes of widths of legs that you can blend into. But you have to start with the hip size as your starting size of pattern.
Okay, why don't we list off the specials?
All right, here are these specials for today. A ton of them. So we have 3 download patterns, the Trio t-shirt, the ET, and the Zane, and those patterns are $12. Printed patterns, the Bristol, the Eureka, the San Diego, the Memphis, Madrid, Anne's, and Sienna and Cortona, $18. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 printed patterns on sale, and 3. I'm giving away the farm here today. All right. We have 2 tutorials on sale, sewing fashion knits, since you're so conversant in knits. And we have one that is really fun. It's called the Eureka Remake. And Erin and Brianna made lots of variations of the Eureka top, the one that you made in the sweater knit. And that tutorial, both of those are on sale for $15. And then my Sewing Knits Fit to Finish book is 15% off. And all the fabrics, every fabric that we have mentioned is 20% off, with the exception of the very last coating that just came in the door 2 days ago. Everything else is on sale.
Even the fur?
Even the fur.
Okay.
Gotta get that lizard fur.
I know. I know.
Was the Hudson on your list?
You know, the Hudson should be on the list. We need to add that.
Okay.
It may not. I may have missed it.
Okay.
We should add that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and why don't you just say that, I mean, if people want a repeat of some of the garments you've shown, I would suggest they look through the video again.
People want to see some of the garments again. We're suggesting that you maybe go through the video again, and we'll mention them in the video. I guess we could hold them up one more time real quick,
Do you want to?
if you want to. How long have we? We've gone over our normal time.
I guess just go for it.
Okay,
Go
real
for it.
quick, let's just hold them up and say what they are. All right, this is the Hudson top, Sienna, Zane, Memphis dress, Anne's cardigan, Oasis skirt. That needs to be added to the list. I forgot this one too. Betsy, are you listening? We have the ET, which is the modification or the regular out of the envelope. 8th Avenue didn't get on there either. Oh my gosh. Trio T. I'm glad we're doing this actually. San Diego, Memphis, Marceau top, Madrid pants,
Tablecloth.
tablecloth Zane, Bristol top, Chicago jacket, and Alex and Olive, and Eureka top, and London, I don't think that's on there, and Flatiron, that's not on there. So I think we're going to add the Oasis and the Hudson to this list, period. Okay. All right. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, well, next week I'm going to be talking about bags to make and all of the different patterns that we have and the great fabrics and webbings and zippers that we have and other hardware. So I hope to see you then. And Alex, can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
You're a
My
star. She's good on camera, so thank you very much. See you next week.